Take a moment to address some important conversations happening across the WNBA, including remarks made earlier this week by Nafisa Collier.
Everyone thought it was just another harmless commercial until the WNBA commissioner reportedly saw it and absolutely lost the plot. What was supposed to be a simple Caitlin Clark ad somehow turned into a full-blown league-level meltdown, whispered phone calls, awkward meetings, and a lot of sudden silence. And the wildest part, the commercial didn't break any rules, it just broke egos. Stick around, because this reaction says way more than the ad ever did.
One of the moments a lot of people has been waiting on, of course, Caitlin Clark now has her own brand logo with Nike, and everybody's been like, where's the love? Where's the rest of the love been? We've been very critical of Nike on this channel for that. I would have loved to have seen Caitlin Clark say, you know what? I'm going to get away from my agent. I'm going to get away from Nike. I'm going to go with somebody else. Agent and brand representation for shoes and other athletic products.
Christmas morning was supposed to be sacred. Not sacred in the religious sense, but sacred in the corporate survival sense. The one day when inboxes stay quiet, phones stop vibrating, and executives convince themselves that the chaos they created all year has politely agreed to take the day off.
You saw it in my statement, but I have the utmost respect for Nafisa and for every single player in our league. They are at the center of everything we do. I was disheartened to hear that some players feel the league and me personally do not care about them or listen to them. And if the players in the W don't feel appreciated and valued by the league, then we have to do better and I have to do better. We know how great these players are on and off the court, how much they mean to our league, our fans, and our communities. If they don't feel that, I will do everything I can to change that. No one should ever doubt.
For the WNBA front office, this was meant to be that day. After a season bloated with record ratings, non-stop debates, locker room tension, and social media wars that felt less like basketball discourse and more like a reality show reunion, everyone just wanted silence.
Giving us a commercial, stirring up some buzz, giving us a potential release date, a time frame for when her shoe's going to come out, her signature collection already slowly starting to trickle out.
The kind of silence where the sports world talks about NFL touchdowns, NBA Christmas games, and ugly sweaters, not women's basketball politics. And then at exactly 10 o'clock in the morning, Nike decided peace was overrated.
Today, this is dropped on Christmas. They waited to Christmas. I assume this will probably come out during NBA basketball today. Caitlin Clark's quote from Anywhere Nike ad features Travis Scott and the Kelsey brothers. They are in this ad. We're one step closer to Caitlin Clark's signature shoe unveiling. But before that, the moment has arrived in 2026. Nike has released the first official spot centered around the women's basketball superstar.
A notification landed. Not from the league, not from a team, not from any official WNBA channel that could be managed, softened, or spun. It came straight from Nike. Polished, confident, and completely unbothered by the fact that it was about to ruin someone's holiday. 30 seconds long, high budget, cinematic, Caitlin Clark everywhere. And just like that, Christmas morning turned into a 5-alarm fire inside WNBA headquarters. Because this wasn't just a sneaker commercial. This was a declaration of independence. To understand why a single ad could reportedly send the commissioner into full holiday meltdown mode, you have to understand how the WNBA has always tried to operate. For decades, the league has leaned hard into the idea of the collective. The shield matters more than the individual. The brand comes first. Everyone is promoted equally, at least in theory, because no one player is supposed to be bigger than the league. It's a philosophy that sounds noble, safe, and cooperative. And it's also a philosophy that collapses the moment a true superstar walks into the room. Enter Caitlin Clark carrying a sledgehammer wrapped in Nike branding. The commercial didn't feel like a sports ad. It felt like a movie trailer. Snowy driveways, impossible shots, cultural relevance drips off every frame. Cameos from people whose bank accounts alone could buy several WNBA franchises without blinking.
Caitlin Clark's first official Nike ad for her merchandise line for the CC logo with all of it dropped, and it is so good. And then they went and dropped a second one. They're both on her Instagram. I'm going to show you some of the first. First of all, it features some heavy hitters. Second of all, the way that it features so many places that were important to Caitlin Clark is just so thoughtful and incredible. Her neighborhood in West Des Moines, the University of Iowa, the Indiana Fever, the New Heights spot, like everywhere. Let me show you.
And what was missing was just as loud as what was included. No heavy league branding. No sense that this was about uplifting women's basketball as a whole. This was about one person, one name, one image, one message. She's not part of the system. She is the system. That's where the rage reportedly started to bubble. Because when you're a commissioner whose entire job is managing balance, optics, and control, watching a sponsor announce to the world that they don't need your permission anymore feels less like marketing and more like a coup. Nike didn't just promote Caitlin Clark. Nike positioned her above the league. They didn't ask. They didn't coordinate. They didn't pretend this was a group effort. They simply pressed publish and let the internet do the rest. Owners asking uncomfortable questions. And somewhere in the middle of all that, the commissioner realized that the ground had shifted while she was busy trying to keep everything neatly aligned. The details of the commercial only made things worse. There was no montage of WNBA highlights, no celebration of the league's history.
Dick's Sporting Goods giving Caitlin Clark her own part of the website. We've been on Nike's neck as of lately. Dare I say, this actually shows some creativity? Dare I say this Caitlin Clark is proof that you can make it from anywhere is brilliant? Let's take a look. Make it from anywhere, of course. Of course, at face value, anywhere on the court. She's hitting logo 3.
No visual reminder that this star exists within a larger ecosystem. Instead, the ad lived entirely in Clark's personal universe. A driveway became a stage. Snow became an atmosphere. Distance became symbolism. The message wasn't subtle. It suggested that her reach goes beyond arenas, beyond leagues, beyond borders. From anywhere wasn't just a tagline. It was a warning. Inside league offices. That warning landed like a brick because the unspoken rule has always been that sponsors and leagues move together. You lift us, we lift you. You sell shoes, we sell tickets. But this ad broke that handshake agreement spectacularly. Nike made it painfully clear that their loyalty isn't to the WNBA brand. Equity-based, marketed as the future. The commissioner had publicly backed it, framing it as a solution to off-season visibility and player compensation. And behind the scenes, they reportedly threw everything at Caitlin Clark to get her involved. Historic money, a short commitment, a chance to be the face of yet another league experiment. She said no.
Caitlin Clark's shoe is on her way. Yesterday on Christmas, Nike finally dropped a commercial featuring Caitlin Clark and her new Nike logo. Last year, she signed an 8-year deal for $24 million with Nike, which includes a signature shoe. And then we hadn't heard anything about it for forever. Now she's finally getting a commercial showing her shoe is on the way. And while the commercial's not up to like Asia Wilson levels of fun, it's still a cute little commercial featuring shooting her signature logo 3, stating from anywhere, meaning she can shoot from anywhere. And the commercial has cute little Easter eggs featuring like her Upward team from when she was a kid, her driver from where she used to practice all the time.
At the time, the narrative floating around suggested she was missing out, that she was stepping away from an opportunity to grow the game, that she was choosing rest over responsibility. And then on Christmas morning, Nike dropped the commercial and erased that narrative in 30 seconds. The numbers told a brutal story. In less than a day, Clark's ad pulled more views than the entire unrivaled league's launch campaign combined. Not by a little, by multiples. It was the kind of comparison that makes PowerPoint presentations quietly disappear from meeting agendas. That's when the realization really set in. The league didn't turn Caitlin Clark into a star. The star was dragging the league along behind her. And once that realization hits, leverage evaporates. Celebrity appearances that don't come cheap. It was the kind of ad you expect to see during the Super Bowl, not as a casual Christmas morning drop. And every frame screamed money, which made the contrast impossible to ignore. Here was Caitlin Clark, the face of a multi-million-dollar marketing machine, while the league she plays for still struggles with production quality, broadcast reach, and salaries that barely register compared to the revenue she generates elsewhere. The ad didn't just sell shoes. It exposed the gap between individual value and institutional compensation.
Been waiting on this one. We have been waiting for Caitlin Clark to make her return to the Kelsey Brothers New Heights podcast. She made her way back and talked about her new sneaker that's going to be dropping. They're going to be better than Jordans, better than Kobe's, all of that. All of that. I can't wait to get mine. I can't wait.
But the one thing I'm frustrated with is I think she has the worst marketing team ever. I've never seen a marketing team that allows a player to completely alienate her consumer base. Guys, I didn't watch a shoe commercial. What I watched was Nike still trying to do a diversity commercial.
For a commissioner in the middle of labor negotiations and long-term growth planning, that's the stuff nightmares are made of, because now every player, every agent, and every union rep has visual proof that the money exists. It's just not flowing through the league. Owners reportedly weren't thrilled either. When your biggest asset generates a marketing explosion and none of that cash touches your balance sheet, questions start flying. Why aren't we seeing returns? Why wasn't this coordinated? Why does it feel like the league is watching from the sidelines while Nike cashes checks? Three-time MVP, champion, face of consistency, also a Nike athlete, also deserving. And yet, the difference in presentation was impossible to miss. Clark's ad felt like a blockbuster. Wilson felt like an obligation. Whether that perception was fair didn't matter. Perception is reality in sports marketing. And the perception that Nike was giving one player the royal treatment while others got the standard package poured gasoline on already simmering tensions.